Get a minute left. I go by that clock because that's the clock that's in the room. So before we get started, as I usually do, if you have a cell phone, please either turn it off or silence it. Okay, so a regular meeting of the Oregon City Commission to order for, again, my stuff's all messed up today.
May 16th.
May 16th, 2018. There we go. I usually have one of these on in front of me. I don't know why I don't have it today. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Mengelberg?
Here.
Commissioner Shaw?
Here.
Commissioner Ide and Commissioner O'Donnell are both absent this evening. Mayor Holliday.
Here. And before we get started, I want to say we have Captain Clure here. He is going to be acting chief for the next month or so as Chief Band takes some personal time. So with that, if you'll stand and join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, moving on, ceremonies and proclamations. We have the 2018 Ruth Powers Preservation Award, and it's going to be Christina Robinson Gardner is going to present for us.
While we're waiting to go on, happy Preservation Month, Mayor Holliday, City Commissioners. We're meeting to present the yearly Ruth McBride Powers Preservation Award. And this year's recipient is the McLaughlin Memorial Association and the Rose Farm Management Committee. Oh, there we go. Here we are. So Ruth McBride Powers has an incredible history of saving historic homes throughout Oregon as well as Oregon City. I won't read all of the back, but we give this yearly award because she was able to use her financial resources to save many of Oregon's oldest buildings. They were purchased outright, and at other times she provided major underwriting. In addition to the Ainsworth House, Rose and Locust Farms, she was credited saving the Philip Foster House barn, the Horace Dibley House, the David Wagner Log House, the Murray Wade House, the Lake Oswego Oddfellow Hall, the Pleasant Grove Convent Church, the John Boone House, and the Francis Ermatinger House. And in 1975, she received national recognition for her work from the National Trust for Historic Preservation. So the Historic Review Board provides this award every year to honor people and buildings that have gone through rehabilitation, and as well as organizations that support the spirit of preservation and cultural heritage. So this year we have the McLaughlin Memorial Association and the subcommittee, which is the Rose Farm Committee. The mission of the McLaughlin Memorial Association is to assist the promotion of Dr. Gall McLaughlin, his associates, through education, interpretation, preservation, respect, and appreciation of our heritage. They were formed in 1909 as they tried to save the McLaughlin House, which is located at the Willamette Falls Legacy Project site and former Blue Heron Paper Mill, and they moved it up to the top of the hill where it sits next to us across the street. And while it was acquired by the National Park Service, the McLaughlin Memorial Association still continues to provide active support. Tours are Friday and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the Rose Farm Management Committee is a subcommittee of the McLaughlin Memorial Association, and they take great pride in preserving the William Holmes House, which is also known as the Rose Farm. It was completed in 1847 and is the oldest American home in Oregon City, and was the scene of early government meetings and many social events. People might not know that the first territorial governor, Joseph Lane, gave his 1849 inaugural address from the balcony of the Rose Farm, and the celebrants gathered on the lawn below. The Rose Farm will open later this week, and they have tours Fridays and Saturdays from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m.
So the Holmes House is older than The Ermitinger House?
No, the Ermitinger House was paid for by the Hudson's Bay Company, so it's not technically
Oh, an American.
an American
Okay, all right.
home. These distinctions matter. This is a great photo of the Holmes House in 1934. So the other thing that this group was able to take part in our Oregon City Preservation Grant Program, which is a 50-50 matching grant program that the Historic Review Board provides every year with matching general fund dollars. So the Historic Review Board and staff greatly thanks the City Commission and the biannual budget to allow this program to continue. And this year, the group moved forward with window repair to keep the historic wood windows on this house. So this is some pictures. The left is the before and the right is after, to work on reglazing and rebuilding the wood windows. The group also provides a lot of tours and activities with the community, and in the back of the room and on your dais are some of the events going on at the Rose Farm this year, as well as the McLaughlin Memorial Association. And I have two members of the organization that are going to come up and briefly talk about their organization, why they are so passionate about these buildings, and kind of the events they plan on doing this year.
Okay. I'm Joan Williams. I'm president of McLaughlin Memorial Association, and I had some prepared remarks and just about covered everything in the introduction here. Basically, as it said, we've been an organization since 1909. The McLaughlin House was going to be demolished, but the owner sold it to a group of women from the Oregon City Women's Club, led by Eva Emery Dye, and the house was moved, and obviously right across the street. And there's a very interesting story about how it was moved. If you're interested, you should visit the house on Fridays and Saturdays and hear more about that move. We also are instrumental in saving the Barclay House, which is now next door. Dr. Barclay was an associate of Dr. McLaughlin, and the house was gifted to McLaughlin Memorialization by Dr. Guy Mounts, and it was moved to its present location from where it was down by the Oregon City West Lynn Arch Bridge, and it was moved up in the mid-30s. And MMA realized sometime in, well, first part of this century, that we couldn't effectively take care of all the houses, so we contacted the National Park Service, and they took over the complex of the McLaughlin and Barclay houses in 2003, but we are still very actively supporting them. And Mrs. Powers gifted the Rose Farm to McLaughlin Memorial Association in the 1980s with the proviso that a committee be formed of its members to be called the Rose Farm Management Committee. And today, the Rose Farm Management Committee is chaired by Wendell Baskins. And Wendell would like to talk to you about the preservation that has been going on recently.
Good evening. This award tonight is very prestigious, and we're so glad to get it. But it would not be even available without the work of three of our senior members: Rita Randall, who's here, Phyllis Gehring, who's here, and Edith Rising, who's not. They've guided they guided this house project for many years and have turned it over to the current Rose Farm Management Committee. The work never stops. We keep improving the houses. Right now, the dining room in the Holmes house is being painted. We are putting in the last of the large rose beds to come in to bring the roses back to the grounds. We keep improving, reaching out to the heritage community. And besides the normal everyday upkeep, It looks as though the roses will be moving for this time are 17 to 19 donated roses that it came from a rose collector and down in the Oak Grove area. There's lots of plans, but we just day by day keep moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
So how long have you folks been on the committee here?
Oh, I've been in the McLaughlin Memorial Association since 2001. And Wendell is a little less than that, maybe
Yes,
about
pretty
15
close.
years or so. Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you very much for your service on that. It's great.
we enjoy it.
I drive by the house twice a day, every day, so.
And have you ever stopped for a tour? Mayor?
Embarrassingly, no, I have not. But I will make it a project.
Always open.
I will
so
make
to
it a
speak.
project to do that this year.
Okay, well, as a matter of fact, we're having a fundraiser on Saturday as part of our Founder's Day for McLaughlin Memorial Association. We'll be selling root beer floats on the front porch right after the teddy bear parade. So come on over.
Okay.
Now, you've got some other folks here too, I think, that are involved. I think
Should
Denise
probably
is here. Yeah,
have
I'd like
all
to
the
recognize
other
those.
members of the Rose
Would
Farm
you rise
Management
for the
Committee
introduction?
stand.
We've got Phyllis and Rita in the back.
Yes.
We've got Denise and Tripp and Mike Jarrett are here also.
Supporter Connie
And
Jarrett.
Connie Jarrett, you know, spouses get involved too.
Yes.
Yeah, big time.
Well, thanks for all
Thank
your
you.
work.
Yeah, thank you.
So with that,
Here we go.
I will present the award. Do I have to say something?
Oh, well, I don't know. In case you want to.
So here we go. We have a paper copy and then this, so if you guys want to hold on to that.
You guys will face me over here.
Well, that's a great picture on this.
Some nice looking folks in there. Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Okay, so moving on, we now have proclamation declaring May 20th to 26th, 2018 as National Public Works Week. I have signed the proclamation, but I'm not going to read it. Mr. Lewis John has a few things to say.
Yeah, I just appreciate you signing the proclamation. The governor did as well, so it is an important week for us. In celebration of that, this year we're doing something special, something unique that we haven't done before that I wanted to share with you. It isn't necessarily a public event, but all events are public events for Public Works for that matter. So on what we're doing in celebration of Public Works Week this week is having an equipment rodeo in town here, and we're going to have it down at the end of the Oregon Trail. And one of the reasons that we're doing it, we've done it before just kind of locally, but this year we're doing a event that's kind of a statewide invite. So we've got about a dozen different agencies from across the state, Bend, Roseburg, some folks from far away that are sending competitors to the event to participate in that. And the idea is we go through an elimination process and get to the top two. And the top two for Oregon would win a little belt buckle that's APW, American Public Works belt buckle, which was kind of cool. Yeah, it's actually pretty big.
Hey, I like that.
And then the Oregon chapter has decided to send two of the Oregon winners to the national convention in Kansas City to participate in the equipment rodeo. So I just wanted to share that with you. I think it's really cool. Oregon City is...
It doesn't say Oregon City on it anywhere.
That's true. It's Oregon. The Oregon APWA chapter supported it, so they've bought those. The city didn't, but so they're helping us by sponsoring the rodeo that we're having, and we've got vendors that are bringing the same equipment that they're going to use at the National Rodeo, and some safety vendors there as well, just to kind of do that. So Oregon City and actually Clackamas County staff are going to try a dry run on it on the 22nd, so you're welcome to come to that. It's in the morning, starting about 9:30. But the real event is on Wednesday, the 23rd, from 9 to 1, and we'll have some lunch down there. So we'd love to have you there. And again, it's not necessarily a public event. If we had too many people, it'd become a problem, but I don't think that'll be the case.
A
So,
couple of ringers coming in for Oregon
I don't know if
City.
we got any ringers coming in from
I think
Oregon
we do.
City. I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes on Tuesday. So,
Yeah.
So
anyway.
are they doing tricks on this equipment, or are you just admiring the equipment?
No, there's actually some exercises that they do
Races
on
and-
the,
I'll come down and run a bucket truck.
yeah, there's a backhoe and a skid steer loader kind of competition. So they have to, like I've forgotten the specifics, but things like pick up a tennis ball and put it in a bucket, or try not to spill water, pick up a water bucket, those kind of things. So, yeah, it's aligned with what they're going to do at Nationals. So these guys are all following the same rules and the same program that Nationals will do. So,
Okay.
yeah, should be fun.
Is that it?
That's it.
I do want to say that I did not have a ride for the Teddy Bear Festival this year, so Mr. Lewis is kind enough to put together a Public Works float that my granddaughter and I will be on, along with some of the kids from Public Works, so.
Float might be a stretch, but it's going to be nice.
It's gonna go in the parade, it's a float.
It's going to be a nice rig, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
John might be driving, so we will get the waivers signed early.
Okay, so with that, we'll move on to citizen comment. Do we have any citizen comment? Mr. Gifford must be out of town.
Mr. Mahoney.
Well, come on up, Bob. You got 3 minutes.
It only take 4. Tonight, I'm going to keep my hat on.
And who are you?
Bob Mahoney. At least that's what my wife calls me, amongst other things. Okay, I'm going to throw out a little challenge to you tonight, because we've, at the Planning Commission, and I'm not speaking for them, I'm speaking for myself. We are a nation of laws, and we are a city of laws. That's just understood. I'm going to say a few things here tonight that we all understand, but I just want you to know that I understand them too. And in the next 18 months that I have on my term, I'm going to be doing a little bit of pushback in a positive sense. And it's going to be based on the law. And those certificates that we have that we work by is a comprehensive plan and our codes and things of that nature. The city has adopted these policies for growth. Now, the Chinese have an interesting saying, may you live in interesting times, and believe me, we do. We're going to have the widening of I-205. We're going to have the issue of the legacy project. We're going to have annexation and the issues of spillover from Portland because of the increased property prices and housing prices there, and all these challenges. The one challenge that we have as a public institution, the city, is to live up to our responsibility to provide our end of the deal. Transportation, schools, recreation in terms of parks, police and fire, all those are going to be challenges that are before us that we're going to have to respond to in response to growth. We're going to have to provide those services. Economy of scale, we got rid of the library system and turned that into a county system. Same thing with the police and fire. Local governments just can't afford it.
Fire. Yes, but we're not getting rid of our local police anytime soon.
Well, did I say local police?
Yes.
My apologies. I meant it, but I just got caught off guard.
Yikes.
Our big responsibility right now is for the public safety in terms of transportation. And the one person that I really want to emphasize that I appreciate, because I think she does a heck of a job when she's allowed to, and that's our city attorney. I turn to her when I'm sitting over there, and I look and I say, are we on good legal ground? So we're going to be relying on her at the Planning Commission level, at least I am, to make sure that we're headed in the right direction to get these streets and all these other things that are referred to in the comp plan updated so we can coordinate our growth and development. So look for that, because it's coming. We're going to go from 35,000 to 50,000 in a blink of an eye. Thank you very kindly. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks for your service on the Planning Commission.
Yes.
Okay, then. Moving right along to public hearings, we have PC 18-057, first reading of ordinance number 18-1006, planning files AN 17-05, zone ZC 1706, and TP 1709 for annexation zone change in a subdivision on Leland Road. Ms. Robinson Gardner.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor Holliday, City Commissioners. This is a consolidated application for an annexation, subdivision, and
Do
zone
you
change.
want me to open the public hearing first?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Feel free to open the public hearing, and I'd love to do the disclosure.
So I'm going to open the public hearing and turn it over to Councilor Richter.
A public hearing on a land use matter is scheduled tonight. A staff report has been prepared and made available to the public 7 days before tonight's hearing. The staff report identifies the approval criteria that apply to the proposal. Staff has analyzed the criteria along with written comments and input received through the public notification process. The quasi-judicial hearing procedure that the commission will follow is set out in state law and the Oregon City Municipal Code. The hearing procedure steps are shown on chart. The Planning Commission has recommended approval of these applications, and the matter is now before the City Commission for final consideration, and the Commission's review is on the record. So argument is allowed, but no new evidence. Anyone who wishes to speak on the matter should fill out a speaker's card and give it to the city recorder. Speakers will proceed in the order in which the card is received. For the public record, please begin all testimony stating your name and whether or not you reside or have a business within the city. Argument should be directed toward the applicable approval criteria. A person may submit written material while the record is open so long as it does not contain new evidence. Any written materials mailed to city staff during the time period when the record is open will be placed in the record. Written materials submitted during the public hearing must be presented to the city staff in order to become part of the record. If the City Commission makes a decision to which you disagree, any issue that you wish to appeal must have been raised for the Commission's consideration. Without raising the issue on the record with sufficient specificity and accompanied by statements or evidence that the city and all parties can respond, the issue will not be judged appealable to the State Land Use Board of Appeals. In addition, Oregon Revised Statute 197796 requires us to announce the following. The failure of an applicant to raise constitutional or other issues related to the proposed conditions of approval with sufficient specificity to allow the local government or its designee to respond to the issues precludes an action for damages in circuit court. At this point, I'm going to ask if any commissioner has any ex parte contacts, conflict of interest, bias, or any other statement to declare.
No.
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 Have any of the commissioners visited the site?
No.
No.
Any person in the audience wish to challenge the commissioners about these disclosures? See none? Go ahead, Ms. Robinson Gardner.
Technically, staff report comes before the public hearing according to the chart, but I'm just saying.
According to what? Oh, the chart. Oh. Okay,
Go ahead.
stand corrected.
Thank you. This is a consolidated application this evening for an annexation, subdivision, and zone change. Quick background, the zone changes to R6 and the approval of a 12-lot subdivision. A transportation analysis estimated the number of lots that could be developed under R6 and R10 and determined that the proposal met the transportation planning rule for both of them. This property is within the urban growth boundary since it was established by Metro in 1979, and planning staff and the Planning Commission found that all utilities can be conditionally constructed on-site and not create off-site impacts to the system. This property is located on Leland Road, just next to Lindsay and Estates 2, which were in front of the City Commission in December of 2017. So it's the parcel that is the large flag lot. This, our GIS maps were not updated at the time, but since since this application, Lindsay N2 is now annexed, the city is also zoned R6, so this area should be in yellow. What you also see is Wesleyland Park is this large area in yellow, and there's a combination of R8, R6, and R3.5 parcels, and the area in gray is still in the county, but inside the urban growth boundary. The layout of this parcel shows a 12-lot subdivision. There is an existing private driveway which parcels to the south have access to. With this new alignment, the private driveway is shortened, and now these parcels will have access to Cherrywood Way and then to Dotson Way to get access to Leland Road. So this part of the driveway will be shortened to allow development of this area into lots. This shows the parcel from Leland Road. And as always, there are criteria that we review at the city for annexation and subdivision, as well as zone change. There's metro boundary criteria in chapter 3.09 that the Planning Commission staff looked at. We have a criteria for annexation, Oregon City Municipal Code Title 14, as well as our zone change criteria. And the Planning Commission agreed with staff's recommendation for conditional approval of this application and did not request any changes to the staff report. And so what the City Commission, if you do agree, you'll be adopting the staff report as your own as part of the ordinance this evening. So I'm available to answer any questions, and the applicant is here as well, so I can go back.
Questions?
Yeah, so Christina, when do we use, what's the boundary for stormwater management? This is 12 lots. How far does it go?
Actually, everything 4 lots and above, everything subdivision and above.
So 4 lots is kind of the min, okay.
Yeah. When you have partitions, you could do stormwater management on site. In each lot can happen. Whereas when you work on a subdivision, generally you have a consolidated stormwater approach.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
On lot 7, on the lower left corner, is that preserved because of the power line easement?
Correct. So this area, while it's part of the gross area of lot 7, it cannot be built on. So you see the modified setbacks in this area for lot 7.
So did this take advantage of lot averaging?
It did, but not very much. Unlike the neighbor to the east, I always get this area as a hard east. Southeast. They, only a few parcels, most of them were above. Though really tract A was placed where the power line goes over the property. So they were able to utilize that kind of what could have been unbuilt areas for the tract.
Okay. I guess that's it. So we'll hear from the applicant.
Thank you.
Mayor Holiday, Commissioners, good evening. My name is Joey Shear. I'm a planner with AKS Engineering, 12965 Southwest Herman Road, Suite 100, Tualatin, Oregon 97062. Thank you for your time this evening in consideration of this application. We appreciate the positive staff report and the recommendation for approval from the Planning Commission. I don't really have anything to add beyond the several hundred pages of material in the packet and the very thorough staff report. We support the conditions and the findings in the staff report, and there's substantial evidence in the record that all the decision criteria are met. So I'm really here just to answer any questions that you might have before you decide to close the record.
So I assume you've been through the gauntlet of the Planning Commission?
Yes.
Okay. That answers my questions.
What is the reason for, I guess we have an easement coming down to the other road, whatever that was? Is that just because you have to do that for fire, or?
Are you talking about the stem there?
Private drive.
Yeah, so that's an existing private, it's an access easement serving the properties back behind there. And so basically what we're doing is shortening that easement because there will be public streets now abutting portions of that driveway, and we'll provide access to those lots.
Right. That comes out on a street though, did I see that on the map though? Isn't that a street that it comes out to, or? It looked like it was Woodbury or?
Yeah.
Cherrywood and Cedarwood.
Cherrywood.
Otherwise it wouldn't be a driveway.
Well, I mean, he's talking about you could access it from where what he's doing, so.
So there's a street.
Right here, yeah. But, I mean, you could be accessing right now from Leland all the way down here, but it has access down here at the bottom too, so. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
do we have anybody here to testify on this? No, neighborhood association, government agency, public. Okay, so with no testimony, there's no rebuttal. So with that, I will close the public hearing and be amenable to a motion.
Move to approve first reading ordinance number 18-1006 and planning files AN 17-05.
Oh, second. Sorry.
Ms. Richter.
Ordinance number 18-1006, an ordinance of the City of Oregon City approving an annexation, amending Title 17 zoning, Chapter 17.06.020, and amending the official zoning map of the Oregon City Municipal Code from FU10, future urban 10 acres, to R6, single-family dwelling district, and approving a 12-lot subdivision for 2.98 acres of property identified as Clackamas County Map 3 2E 07C, tax lot 199.
Call roll.
Commissioner Shaw,
Aye.
Commissioner Mengelberg,
Aye.
Mayor Holliday.
Aye. So, we're now under general business, 18-129, resolution 18-07, establishing local criteria for administration of the vertical housing development zone program and establishing fees. Who gets this one?
Me.
Mr. Underwood.
Thank you, Mayor. So in 2013, the city adopted the Vertical Housing Development Zone Program, which at that time was administered by the state of Oregon. Since that time, the state has decided to get out of the business of administering that program, and have passed Senate Bill 310 that allows local jurisdictions to establish local criteria for the program and administer that program. So tonight before you, you have a resolution to establish that local criteria and set fees for the program. Basically, the way we've set this up is we've just rolled over the exact criteria that the state had implemented along with the fees. The fees are proposed to stay the same at this point because we already have an application that's been certified. And we have hopefully 2 more on the way. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have about the program and us administering it.
Got nothing.
Well, I noticed that the Legacy site was not involved in this, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, we're always looking at properties that obviously that we want to keep our tax rolls. And we don't like, we're very sensitive about taking properties off the tax roll. And so I want people to understand that we take this pretty seriously, that when we start offering these incentives and stuff. So, I mean, it seems like a lot, but some of these properties obviously need incentives to have some development there. Right. So I just want folks to know that we don't take these kind of things lightly when we're talking about, subsidizing or taking things on a limited value on their taxes and stuff. So, what happens, Eric, when like Bush Furniture, if they were to put that addition on the top they had talked about in the past, what happens to that, to their structure then?
So they are within the vertical housing zone district, and so they could apply, but they would have to meet the criteria, the calculations.
But does their existing building qualify for that, or is it just whatever's new?
They can do
adaptive reuse.
They can do adaptive reuse, yes. So
And
they'd
would
have
qualify.
to add considerable amount of space in order to do that. But yes, they could do that.
Okay.
I think these programs are really important if we want to have ground floor retail or commercial use, and second, third, and fourth story residential incentives are the way to make it happen, because otherwise it's really hard to get financing for these types of projects. So I applaud the program and encourage you to use it effectively in the future. Great, thank you.
Well, and one of the things about this is that, you know, especially for our downtown core, to have people that are living there, you know, provides a level of security. It also provides, you know, built-in commerce for the merchants that are there. I know the building where we're out in Canby, they're building it's called the Dahlia Project. It's a 4-story apartments with ground floor retail. Downtown Canby's pretty empty right now. There are a lot of empty storefronts, and I think that is going to help revitalize, bring people in that are living in downtown, and that's going to encourage more small businesses to locate there. And so I applaud this as well. And I think the money that we lose in the short term for the tax abatements, I think, is more than made up for in the long term.
Eric, what's the maximum duration of the tax deferment?
So the maximum duration is 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's only a partial tax exemption.
Right.
Can it be renewed? Or is it a one-time?
We've got it in our program to sunset at the end of 2026.
And one thing that the public doesn't necessarily understand about these programs, the ground floor, which is probably the existing level of development, they pay full taxes on that.
Right, correct.
So they're getting a break on the new housing that otherwise might not be built.
Right. And it could even act as an incentive to build that ground level.
So is there a motion?
I just had one, too. So the building on the corner of 10th and Main that's proposed, are they available for this?
They intend to apply for the program.
Okay.
But a hotel would not qualify, right?
No, it would not.
Okay.
Move to approve 18-129, resolution number 18-07, establishing local criteria for administration of the vertical housing development zone program and establishing fees.
Second.
Call a roll.
Commissioner Shaw?
Aye.
Commissioner Mangelberg?
Aye.
Mayor Holliday?
Aye. Okay, we're down to the consent agenda. Anybody want to pull anything off the consent agenda?
No, it's good.
And I'd hear a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Call a roll, please.
Commissioner Shaw?
Aye.
Commissioner Mangelberg?
Aye.
Mayor Holliday?
Aye. And I believe we are now on to communications. Mr. Manager.
Thank you. Quick update that with the passage of Oregon House Bill 2017, TriMet will receive increased funding for transit expansion and improvements starting in 2019. TriMet is looking to hear directly from communities that they serve and how they can better serve them. So they're holding several open houses. There will be one here in Oregon City on Tuesday, May 29th at the Abernethy Center, which is at 606 15th Street from 5 to 6 p.m. So if you're interested in that, you can visit TriMet's website or our RSVP to that event at the Abernethy Center on Tuesday, May 29th. Also on Monday, May 28th for Memorial Day, we are having our annual commemorative service for Memorial Day at the Mountain View Cemetery at 500 Hilda Street, Oregon City. It'll be Monday, May 28th, beginning at 10 a.m. So please come on out and participate in that service and event at the cemetery. And then last, I'd like to invite up Mr. Patrick Foyles, our new Human Resources Director. So Patrick.
That's who that guy is.
Yeah, that's him.
That's who that guy is, yes. So Patrick started Monday with us. Jim's still here, kind of, helping get some of the projects wrapped up here, but Patrick's with us now, full-time and on board. So he joins us after he's worked at Lake Oswego in their HR department since 2001.
We'll forgive you for that.
Yeah. Dealt with a wider range of human resource issues for Lake Oswego, including multiple union contract negotiations, labor issues, benefit issues. So brings a wealth of knowledge. We had several candidates apply, went through multiple interview panels with staff, both from the unions as well as management and the directors. So just really, really excited to have Patrick on board and look forward to working with him.
All right.
Welcome.
Yeah. You'd like to say anything, Patrick?
Well, I want to thank Tony and this management team. I'm excited to get going. It's really exciting.
Well, I look forward to coming and seeing you and actually being able to see the surface of the desk, so that'll be interesting.
I plan to have that office done.
Give tours.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, just to see that, not because of other things, so.
Yeah.
Come in and say hi anytime, please.
All right.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Is that it?
That's all I have tonight.
You guys have anything?
Just a couple things. Went and Captain Claire and I and Chief Ben and a few other folks went down and visited the Albany Police Department here last Thursday. So it's just kind of cool how these each one of these departments and police departments operate kind of differently and things like that. And what they found, what they did, and these are fairly new police facilities. And you would think that they kind of got the bugs all worked out of these things, but each of them had issues.
Each of them has an architect, that's the problem.
Well, really? But anyway, so it's kind of cool visiting all these places, and hopefully we don't have those bugs, but I'm sure we may have one or two and stuff. So it's been enlightening that way. Went and spoke at the, in fact, Mr. Lewis and I went and spoke at the Gaffney Lane Neighborhood Association the other night, and with Amy Wilhite, she's the chair there, so that was good. And then also kind of remind everybody of the parade this Saturday. The Teddy Bear Parade starts at 10:30. One starts at the Arch Bridge and goes down to the into the Oregon Trail. So it's always packed. It's interesting. So I think it looks like good weather. So come join us on that. So that's it. All right.
I'd like to compliment the planning staff on a great workshop that they had last night. I got a lot of input, and it was a well-attended event, and I think it really elevated the conversation, so thank you.
If I could just jump in real quick, Mr. Lewis had one quick update that I forgot to.
Just want to talk in quick in the same sentence?
Yeah, it can happen once in a while. You just wanted to give you folks an update. The community is having the conversation about value pricing, which I know you're all aware of. Value pricing in this context means finding ways to fund the 205 widening project. So the legislature tasked the Oregon Department of Transportation to come up with solutions. And so in that effort, they put together a policy advisory committee, and that's made up of a cross-section of community members. We're represented by one of our county commissioners on that committee. And so they're working through that. The ODOT has a pretty informative website on the value pricing options and some of the things that they're considering. I guess the reason why we thought it was important to bring to you is because they are asking, and I think Tony's been talking to you a little bit about the fact that they're asking for, where the city's position is on this. The timeline is so short that there's not a lot of time to have a lot of public conversation about it, but they're trying. One of the things that they're doing that's not necessarily so focused on value pricing, but it's about the I-205 widening project. And we've got ODOT scheduled to come before you on the 20th, I think, of June. But they're having an open house at the Tumwater Ballroom on June 6th from 5 to 7 p.m. So we just want to mention that. And then, just recognizing that community conversation's going on. I think they're going to talk about it at the C4 retreat. And so I know you all know about it, but want to make sure the public knew about it.
Well, it looks like the final recommendation coming out of, that's going to go to the Oregon Transportation Commission is that they do a test run on a section of I-5. So it'd be from Going Street down to Multnomah Boulevard. And I think you're probably 4 or 5 years away from getting to that. So I think we can have some more discussion about it, but generally speaking, I think the Oregon Transportation Commission and the legislature are going to do what they're going to do, and we're not going to have a whole lot to say about it. Communities like Oregon City and West Lynn should be concerned if they decide to toll the Abernathy Bridge, just the bridge itself. That's going to produce a lot of impact in downtown Oregon City as people try to beat the toll by driving across the Arch Bridge and going through downtown and using Highway 99 and Highway 43. So people should be aware, should be, talking to ODOT, but I don't have a whole lot of confidence that anything we say are going to have much of an impact on what they decide to do.
Well, it does kind of seem like we could have influence on, if maybe they're going to go forward with those tolling options, but you're right about the impact to Oregon City if that were to happen. And so thinking about things like how to mitigate that, is there a deal for Oregon City citizens that they could find a way to work through that would be beneficial to Oregon City citizens or people that work in Oregon City?
Toll Main Street.
An exception that might make sense. The other thing is right now they've been tasked with just widening the I-205, not necessarily dealing with the interchanges. And in Oregon City, we already have problems at 99E and 205 and Highway 43 and 205. Both those will affect us. So, my hope is that, that's kind of been the message that staff has been carrying forward, that we're concerned about those things and like to see them wrapped into the project as well. But it'd be a lot more powerful as coming from you folks.
Okay, thanks.
I guess my concern about that is that it's very regressive. People that are of means may not have trouble paying for it, but people that are working and not making a lot of money disproportionately would be bearing the cost. And Oregon City is more of a median income city, so I think it would be a harder hit for our residents, and so therefore I have concerns about it.
Well, I'd suggest we remember that when the legislative election's coming up in November. So, moving on, did you have anything else, Renata? Okay, Tony interrupted you. No? Okay, so I had one of the fun experiences of being mayor. I was invited to Gardner for Career Day. And so I got to do 2 periods of having kids come in and talk to me and ask questions and have answers about what it's like to be mayor and what the job is all about and how much I get paid and all of those kinds of things. So that was a lot of fun. I've had a couple, 3 good private meetings with development interests over the last couple of weeks, and I think we'll have some exciting news to share in the near future. So with that, unless somebody else has something for the good of the order.
Well, I think Mr. Lewis represented Oregon City in the marathon that he ran over the weekend and stuff, so, I think you went second place or something there, John, so.
Really? In the public meeting, you're going to go through that?